Good morning. It is Saturday, May 7th. I got up today, and I have things to do, editing, maybe some shopping, be great to film some more unboxings or whatever. All that'd be great. But none of that is a must-do, so we'll see. See what happens. Now, something else that's not a must-do, but I think I'm going to try and do first, is see if I can get this camera up. Or make progress towards it. I might actually need someone else's help, because I have to obviously move the furniture into normal gaming position, so I can figure out how to line things up. But maybe I can at least, take the stud finder, find a stud in the ceiling, see if maybe I can have a spot where one of the mounting points can be directly into a stud instead of just an anchor. I would really appreciate that if I can manage. So some things like that maybe. I don't know. But thinking I might work towards that goal, I guess. So step one, if I'm going to have a camera on the ceiling pointing at the table and the camera on the ceiling cannot move, I need to be able to get the table in the same place every time, because it moves around the room a few different ways. So I have to be able to get it back exactly in the same spot. So I used a couple of stills from a few videos. I found both of the different campaigns, so different groups, and I found some that I like, and that I basically had almost the same setup and camera angle and all that for both. Just seeing a bit more. And then I did basically things like this and got this so that I could set up the room itself how it was during that shot. So I used that frame to set it up. So this table is in the same spot that it was for those two filmings, which both worked for everyone fitting around the table, so I know it's fine. Then I took a little video and grabbed the still of the room queen, so I have less distractions to draw out. And I drew out new guidelines, which is a little more specific. The back legs, the table legs, both sides. Here's the top of the table. And then I also have things like the door, this is the edge and top of this shelf, the bottom of the shelves along the wall and the two plates, the door over here, where, actually more specifically, the position of the door where you see a little bit of the bathroom. Things where I can line up the camera in exactly the same spot, and by lining the camera up, give myself a guide to line the table up in exactly the same spot. So now, the table is where it needs to be. I can run wires and see where the ceiling camera needs to be. So I'm having pretty good success. Okay, so I decided, as far as like an object to try and focus on, I put the HeroQuest game board, one topper section in, and I used the boxes to center it. And then I had to zoom in to get it, fill in the frame, which means I can zoom out to equally match up to the border or the whole table or all that. But it was just easier to zoom in and focus on a smaller target. And then I got the camera over there, which looks like nothing because it's just pointing at the table, but it moves with the remote. Useful. And so then I just recorded a little segment here, and this is what I'm telling myself is position one, which first off, I was afraid that it was going to be a much more drastic angle, but it's not. It's almost up and down. That will work very well with the desired setting in the center of the frame. Like, I was all worried about how am I going to manage to make the angles work and all that. The angles are so close to non-existent that a border will fix the problem. Yay. Okay, so that's one less problem, one less thing to worry about. Cool. So, when I did that, I have a piece of tape on the ceiling. And on this tape, I have an area around where a stud is, and this is the outer edges of where the camera was, and it was about centered. So I have an approximate location to put it, marked out with tape on the ceiling. I am making a lot more progress than I thought I was going to. Sweet. Unexpected complication. As it turns out, I don't really know what I'm doing when trying to use this on the ceiling. It's like not acting like there's a stud there. So I guess I'm using the anchors. So I put a few little holes in the ceiling. Oh well. I guess I'm using the anchor now. Great. That's what I wanted. Not what I wanted. Oh well. Okay, so we should be fine. The anchors I have say that they support up to 80 pounds each, 79 pounds each, but suggest only using it for a quarter of that. So let's say 20. Some sources online say, oh, a lot less if it's a ceiling. Others say, it doesn't matter. But ultimately, between the mount and the camera, the weight is about 3 pounds. So it's a lot less. So it should be fine. However, it's an expensive camera. I would rather a little something more. So, what I can do is I can get like a rope or cord, and I can put it around one of these bolts, which will be all suspended where I have like basically a safety line, where if it falls, it doesn't fall far and it catches. So all I have to do is find where a stud actually is and put it there. I'm like, okay. So step one, I'm like, okay, so where are the studs? I'm not finding them. Well, one thing I figured out, most likely, is my assumption, because of how I have this light ran, which is all on the outside, so it's a bad assumption, was that the studs are probably running this way. Okay. Now, thinking about it, I don't think that's right. Because of this lower section of wall. The heater AC is back of the closet and it runs out here, but I got AC way out here without it being lowered, which means that it is only lowering it to run this way in the condo, and it goes up between the joists to go this way. Right? Right? I guess. So, I guess the studs are running this way to help find them. Alright. So I found a stud to put this hook in. So when I thought it was here, I guess really it was here. So I was a little off. Again, the hook I can connect to something around, tie a rope, whatever. Just so that if it falls, it doesn't fall far. Alright, so I got the screws poking up, the washers on there. I'm gonna try and get this thing actually on the ceiling. It's up. Okay. That's not a good rope for that. I mean, it'll work if it fell. And I don't think it will fall. But it's just like shreddy. But it's the rope that I have here. So eventually I'll buy something and replace it. But there's that. And I needed that hook anyways. The reason I have those hooks is because I knew I would need that hook, because I don't want, you know, just to like have a cable drooping from there all the way down to the computers. I need to hook it on there. So I'm not done, because I then also need to hook it like up against the wall so it will go straight down the wall. So I need to put another hook. Yeah. This is exhausting. Part of my brain was like, I'll do this real quick today and then maybe record a video or two after that. No. But this is worth spending a day doing. So it's fine. I'll keep going. Alright. Well, kinda done. I got things put on the ceiling. Cable ran. I still need to tidy up all cables around here because they need to be like up here somewhere and not on the floor. I don't know if I'll do that today or some other time. And I started like kind of coming up with an idea for how to, you know, make the layout work. Because I'll need to make like a frame. So I'm figuring out how to do that. I was originally thinking of having the board like way down here, but then I realized I can't reach it to put stuff on there. But also I came to that realization because I was looking at it and it was narrower than I wanted, but a little taller than I wanted. I was like, huh, well, I could just flip it and move it towards me. So yeah, so started thinking that, and all that's well and good, and can start thinking about maybe a frame. I'll still have to figure out who exactly is going to be in the game. However, there is also an issue that I discovered that will need to be fixed. And that is, this moves. It should not. I just put away all the stool and all that, and I'm like, I need to fix that. That needs like a command strip or something shoved up in there, because that should not be wiggling like that. That's annoying because it's on the ceiling now, and that's the difficult way to mess with it. But that's what I need to do now. It's taking my whole day. So once I got it down where it's no longer in between there, as far as like how loose is the thing, it just slides around. And that is specifically this screw right here, which is the one that I cannot access while it is up there. So I think what I'm going to do is, before tightening it down again, I'm going to get a couple like command strips, like the adhesive pads, and I'm going to put those up in it to just sort of glue it in place. Because, yeah, I can't have it just wobbling around up there. It's dangerous. I went ahead and finished getting the camera put up. It is secured. It has command strips, which are like double-sided adhesive, to hold it in place. I was playing around with it some. I pulled out a bit of HeroQuest so I can figure out where a board could be if I were to set up the game. I have even taken a still so that I can begin working on the framing for where it will say everyone's name, all that. Yeah. So, sweet. I still have to figure out, you know, when we'd play and who's going to play. I know my brother wants to. I think my nephew does. And with that, it'll end up being on some Saturdays. But I'll need like 2 of my buddies to join along. And that's fun for me, because I I like merging friend groups. So that'll be fun for me. And at this point, I guess I'm just, you know, I'm telling them, like, it's just the first 14 quests, you know, the core game. And we can switch up who's playing between those. I mean, if the same group wants to just keep playing, I'll probably just let them. But as far as commitment level, I'm only saying 14 quests. That is so cool. That feels like I got a piece of a, you know, production equipment, like a studio equipment up on the ceiling. Also really glad I painted that black rather than leaving it just wood. So that has been my entire day, has been getting that freaking thing up. And it's, I mean, it's late, but it's dark out, as it feels quite late. Yes, yes it is. I was right. It's dark out. Close the blinds. Curtains. I don't have blinds. I don't get the blinds. Double layer curtain works much better. So I'll figure out something to have as a bite to eat and tidy up some things in here and get to bed. That thing does sometimes just move on its own when it's not in use. That's creepy. Oh well. And there is dust from the ceiling on stuff. Needs to be cleaned up. Oh well. I'm gonna call it a night. Thank you for joining me, and join me as my journey continues.